Welcome back to what will be the final page in this slow stitching book. I am planning to continue. I will continue doing a slow stitch video every Friday, but this will be the final page in this book, and then we'll focus on the cover. And then after that, we'll do another sort of slow stitching project. But I realized in all of the pages I've done so far, I don't have any couching, which is one of my very favorite techniques. And so I thought that would be fitting for this final page. I have this really interesting yarn. It's very textured. It's really differing thicknesses. And so I thought that would be an interesting thing to couch. And I have been trying to decide what to do. And I decided, I think, that we'll do a heart. So I'm just going to sketch a heart out with my water-soluble pen, which apparently is running out of ink because this is not showing up very well. Let's try this one. Ah, that's better. So this is a water-soluble pen. So I think I'm going to use this yarn and we will decide at some point whether to maybe do concentric hearts like we've done on another page in this book, or something else. Right now I have this pearl cotton, which is it's a really similar color. I thought they would look nice together. So this will be what I am couching with. And then the yarn will just lay on top of the fabric. So I actually had this yarn knit up in a swatch for something else. So some of it is kind of crinkly looking. But hopefully that will go away as I stitch it down. I am only using one page where normally I would do a couple of layers, but this is the last piece of fabric I have that's cut this size. And where it's couching, it's not really the same as another technique might be. Kind of want to disguise this end. I don't want it to be right in the point of the heart. So I'm going to leave that long and then change it when I get back around. So with couching, all you're doing is going around in this case, the yarn. So I come up on one side of the yarn and go down on the other side, just holding it in place along my line that I've drawn. So this yarn is not going to go through the fabric at all. You could have it start underneath if you wanted a crisper edge, which maybe I could have done. I am not doing that. was hoping to get to some of this other color. I hope that'll show up in this outside shape of the heart. I do think we'll probably want to do some concentric bits to show that off a little bit more. So it looks like, let's see, it'll just barely show up. Maybe I will kind of pull this down to make the heart more, like the point of the heart more pronounced, so we can make sure to get that color showing up at the top. Just stitch this point in place a little more closely than I have been in the rest of the heart. You could, of course, do any shape for this. I was debating between circles and a heart. I think I'm generally not a huge heart person. That might not be true. I don't really know. I do lean more toward doing circles on things, but this just felt appropriate since I think we've already done 2 hearts in this. And I just feel like the world needs more love right now. So this is a way of sending a little bit more love out into the world. As woo-woo as that sounds. Sending you some love. It felt like an appropriate motif for the last page of this stitch journal that has been a really good project for me. It's something I've thought about doing for a long time and just hadn't really gotten around to. So I really appreciate you being here and helping me to start what I hope will be a long, consistent spread of sharing slow stitch projects and embroidery projects and quilting and all the things with you here. You can probably hear my very sad cat. He does not like it when my kids leave. So my 2 younger kids are at their homeschool enrichment day right now. They go and do classes with other homeschool kids. And then the 17-year-old just left to run an errand, and so poor little Smudge is feeling abandoned. Okay, I'm really liking how this worked out with just that little bit of color showing over there. And I think what I want to do is cut this off here because I want that emphasis to be on that side. So I'm going to secure this point of the heart a little bit better so that none of that, the loose ends, come out. And then I need to decide what to do next. Oh, yay. That looks just how I imagined it would look. I love that little bit of the change of color. So now what? I wish you could tell me what you would do. Maybe I'll just go around again, but I'll actually measure it this time. Because I want this to end up right here, I will measure where this needs to go. It's not wanting to stay in place for me. I'm going to let it bunch a little bit more. I think I'll make it extra bunchy right there just to have a really big section of that color. Okay, so we know this, that'll stop right there. And then this will come around like this. So I will cut it a little bit bigger, just a tiny bit, to give myself some extra yarn. And then I'll just go around one more time. And that might be the majority of what I do for this page. I'm going to secure that end really well. And I'm going to intentionally not couch in line with the first row. So if you can see where these couching stitches go, I want this to be staggered or just not in line with those. I think that will look more interesting. So essentially we're just making this heart, like the line of the heart, a little bit thicker. That's at least how it will look in my mind. You might hear all sorts of big trucks across the road. I think I've mentioned that there are houses being built right across our little street. We've lived in this house for almost 15 years and have had a horse pasture across from us that whole time. And that lot just sold last fall, and now houses are under construction. Like I mentioned, I want to make this extra scrunchy right here. So I'm just going to scrunch all this up. I'm going to have this section of the heart be extra thick and colorful. So the couching here will be less linear, less really well defined. I'm just going to go around holding things down. I'm really happy that I found a way to use this yarn. I only had a little bit of it. I got it in some kind of yarn bundle. Excuse me, I was buying wool yarn for another project, and this is not wool, but it came in the bundle that I purchased. It's just so interesting to me that I wanted to use it in a way that could really show off the changes in color and texture. So there's that. I'm really happy with it. I'm going to turn the light off so maybe you can see a little bit better the color. It's a tricky time of day to be trying to film. I really love that. I hope you at least like it. I also wanted to show you this daily project I've been working on. I've got this little pouch in my morning reading basket, and I pull this out and work on it for maybe 15 or 20 minutes each morning. And it's coming along. So let's see, I've got it upside down. I'm referring to this as my kindness scroll or my resistance roll, depending on my mood. I've just put some quotes about kindness and love and just lots and lots of stitches. This is one that we use in our family a lot. It's from a movie, I think probably from the 80s. I can't remember. I remember watching it as a kid, called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. They say, be excellent to each other. And that's kind of our family motto. So I'm just, like, you can see I add a little bit in. I might use a safety pin to hold things as I kind of set up the next little section. And then I just kind of work back and forth. I leave my needle in it because then when I have a second, I can unroll it and just know right where to start, and I don't have to think too much about it. This fabric is dyed with Inktense blocks, and it's quite long. I've got a ways to go still, but I think I will update you every so often on how this is going. I did have these left over from some samples hit the lamp there, from some samples I stitched for some classes and other things I taught. This one was actually framed in a hoop and accidentally got some staining on it, something black, so it was a hoop, but I just cut it down and used it here just so it wasn't totally unusable. So just like other slow stitch things, I really prefer to have 2 layers at least, and so all of this that's just a single layer will most likely be filled in with time. And I have this in my pouch. I've got this old Altoids tin with the threads I'm using and this little bundle of scraps. It's safety pinned together and kind of a mess at the moment, actually. So as I need scraps, I'll just pull from here, or if I want a different color, I can always go to my little drawers where I keep more of, a bigger selection of different colors and things. But this is nice to just have kind of on the go all the time. And I keep everything I need. This is another roll that I dyed, but I'm using this as fabric to go on top of the other scroll. So this is kind of, this would be my second layer. I just cut it up and use it as I go. And then that just lives by the side of my bed. I'll pick it up for a few minutes each morning. Or if I don't have anything else I want to work on in the evenings while my husband and I watch a show or something, I'll pull this out. So that's progress on that so far. Okay. Thank you for being here. And I might continue working on this. I have some ideas, but someone did suggest leaving this last page that I did, leaving this one uncovered on the back because the stitching is so beautiful in itself. So I've been thinking about that and wondering, what if I cut this out and stitch that on there somehow? Or I might just leave it. I might just let it be its own page. So many options. Okay, so this week I've started stitching these together, and I'm going to continue working on that, and we'll start to finish up this book over the next 2 or 3 weeks. This is future Heidi, editing Heidi, coming in to let you know that I lost the sound for this next clip. I have tried re-recording it. I've just had a whole strew of technical difficulties. So I'm just going to pop in here and tell you the most important things and then let you watch the process. Essentially, I really love this background. This is the page we did last week. Somebody in the comments said that this background looks really interesting. And after I had finished couching this heart on a blank page, I had the idea that maybe I should have just couched it directly onto this page as the final page of our book so that you can still see this background. I love that it kind of shows more, it shows better how many stitches there are and how much work goes into a collage page like this. So you'll see this in the video, but you won't hear me talking because the sound got messed up. But essentially I just cut around the heart. So here's the page that it was on. I cut around the heart and I cut the inside out and then couched it on here, but I did it invisibly. So I used the thread and went underneath the yarn, but not all the way through the fabric. So I'm just going through this back layer that this whole page was built on and couching this down. So you can't see how it's stuck down. I just wanted to leave these original couching stitches. So I just kind of tacked down. You can see where the fabric was cut away. I used that as the place to stitch underneath the yarn. So I apologize for the technical difficulties. I wish I knew what happened, but there was just no saving that audio, unfortunately. So here we are, and now back to just the process of doing this. So this is all finished now. Just going to finish off this thread. I've already wound it through the yarn a few times. And I'll cut that off. Okay. I really like that. I love this kind of unplanned background. It's much less formal than the front of this page. I love how it's kind of random and kind of imperfect, very imperfect. But adding this couching makes it feel more complete. So that finally feels like the end of this page. And the final page in the book. So I've just spent some time stitching pages together. And very soon this book will be complete. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next week.